So Square Enix had an event where people could come in and actually play Kingdom Hearts 3 with English voiceovers. They had the controllers in their hands. They played the fucking games. Um, I did learn apparently that the 60 frames per second that we get to see in all these videos, that is only on the Xbox One X version apparently, and also the PS4 Pro version. And though the PS4 Pro version isn't at a solid 60 frames, it's unlocked frames, which means sometimes it's at 60s and sometimes it dips below, which I guess is better than just playing only in 30. I would prefer to have unlocked than playing only in 30. I only have a PS4 and a regular Xbox One. I do not have a Pro or a One X, so if you're like me, you're going to be playing Kingdom Hearts 3 not in the perfect, glorious 60 frames per second that we've been seeing in these cutscenes, but uh, lots of footage has been coming out. It's all been the stuff we knew. It's nothing that we haven't already seen, but just seeing people play the game differently and seeing those same moments, I'm loving it. And hearing people who I like on YouTube talking about what they thought of it and what they experienced, it was great. And it's getting me so excited, and it's really starting to hit me that Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out this year. And every time they show a new trailer for Kingdom Hearts, I get so hyped because it looks like such a good game. Kingdom Hearts 3 looks so good. With Kingdom Hearts, you either love it or you hate it. And usually the people who beat Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, they're the people who love it and they're really into it. And everyone else, they get partway through it and they're like, this game's stupid, and they stop playing. Kingdom Hearts has flaws. It's not a perfect game by any means, and I can't even really begin to explain why I love it so much. I'm not that much of a Disney fanboy. Well, I do love Final Fantasy games. My love for Final Fantasy kind of ends around Final Fantasy VII. Everything after that, I'm not really that into nearly as much as I'm into, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then like Tactics. I'm not that into the other ones. 10 a little bit. I like 10 a little bit, but 8, whatever. Fuck that game. And I definitely don't want to see 13 or characters like Lightning. And that's why it's kind of a good thing that they did have some waiting. Because Square Enix had this period of time where I wouldn't have wanted another Kingdom Hearts game from them. I probably would have hated it if another Kingdom Hearts game came out. So I'm kind of glad they waited. But the thing is that it's almost surreal, the fact that we're even getting a Kingdom Hearts 3 and it's ready. It's almost finished. It's like a real fucking game. It's coming out this year. I can't even believe it, really. It looks like it's going to be bigger and better than ever before. It looks like it's going to put Kingdom Hearts 2 to shame, which is super exciting for me. And I just cannot wait for more Kingdom Hearts. And so what I want to do, because I'm not a news guy, that's not what I do. I want to talk about predictions, as usual. And I think for the most part, we're all around the same page. I think a lot of these new worlds and old worlds that we're returning are kind of obvious for me. But also we don't have that much to work off of, so we don't always know. We don't know exactly everything. Um, I I was surprised when I saw Monsters Inc., but I wasn't shocked. I wasn't like it's like I didn't think about it, but I was like, you know what though? Like good, because they should do more than just Toy Story. They should do other things. But when I first saw Toy Story, I was shocked. My jaw was on the floor because I thought they would never do Pixar. And the thing is that in the Disney Infinity games, they were putting Pixar in those games right from the start. And it really makes me think like I didn't expect Pixar at all in these games, and especially they chose Monsters Inc., which is there's not even a new movie tie-in for Monsters Inc. There's a new movie tie-in for The Incredibles, but it's like they don't really care about that. They're just like trying to enjoy and celebrate all things Disney, you know. So they're showing Toy Story and Monsters Inc., which is just phenomenal. That's so good. That's going to be so much fun to play. And we also have seen that Tangled is in the game, which is really cool because it makes perfect sense to include Tangled. But the best thing about these new Kingdom Hearts games is that in the old ones, you got a three-man party. One guy had to be Sora, and then two guys had to be Donald and Goofy. And if you got a ally, they were specific to the new world. Whatever world you're at, your ally was specific to that world. So you had to exchange either Donald or Goofy for your other ally because you only have three people. So then you could have Sora, Aladdin, and Goofy, or possibly like Sora, Jack Skellington, and Donald, and that's what you would have, you know. And now it's a bit different, where every world they might have more than one ally. Some worlds have two allies, and from what I can tell, Monsters Inc., Toy Story, and Tangled all have two allies per world. You're not just worrying. You're not just focused and worried on one ally. It's really cool. You don't have to sacrifice Donald or Goofy, so you just have a team of five. You know, your party size is so much bigger now. You don't double in size, but you double in party members. You went from two party members, and one you'd have to exchange, to four members, and you don't have to exchange Donald or Goofy, which makes me really think that towards the end of the game, you might get to fight alongside Mickey and Riku at the same time, and that is such a exciting prospect for me. And so this is what I'm talking about when it comes to like my predictions here. I'm going to try to predict some worlds, but to me, I think the way the story was going in Dream Drop Distance, it seems like Kyrie will probably be able to wield a Keyblade, and I'm wondering if she will. And same with Axel. Like these are all Kyrie and Axel are kind of like Keyblade wielders now who are going to join our side, and there might be more interactions with Roxas in some way. You know, I'm not sure how that's going to work yet. I've always been intrigued by the relationship with Sora and Roxas, as well as Namine and Kyrie, and how like they're sort of similar but not exactly because they're nobody alter egos, and so I'm wondering if what we're going to see with that stuff. But I'm thinking at the very end of the game, sort of like how Kingdom Hearts 2, you got to fight alongside Riku, which was fucking awesome, fighting alongside Riku. But you'll get to fight alongside Riku and King Mickey at the same time. It'd be like Sora, Donald, Goofy, Mickey, Riku. You know, that's what an awesome lineup of fucking characters. That just sounds awesome to me. I am also wondering if there will be moments where you straight up play as Riku, like in Dream Drop Distance, you got to play as Riku. I mean, in Rechained and Chain of Memories, you could play as Riku as well. And playing as Riku is a ton of fun. Playing as Riku makes you feel so powerful in those games. And playing as Riku in Dream Drop Distance, Riku's kind of like the main star of the show in Dream Drop Distance. Like Riku, I kind of do want to replay Dream Drop Distance, but Riku was like the hero of those games, man. He kicks ass in those games, and I love playing as Riku. I adore Riku. So I kind of want to play as Riku more, and I hope we get to play as Riku in 3, but might not happen. Might just play as Sora. But as long as we get to fight alongside him again, like we did in 3, or like we did in 2, then I'm totally fine with 1, 2, and 3, making it so you are locked in always playing as Sora, and then the side games are more like free, where you don't always play as Sora. Sometimes you play as other characters. Like Birth by Sleep, you don't even play as Sora at all. And other games, you know, stuff like that could be cool too. So I kind of want more with that. Yeah, and I am wondering if Kyrie and Axel will be a part of the story too. Again, you'll probably just fight alongside them, but we'll have to see. Everyone is wondering about the Final Fantasy stuff. Apparently, in the Toy Story world, there's a video game store in the toy store, and they have figures for Dissidia, but they're not the Final Fantasy characters. They're the summons like Ifrit and Bahamut, that's a really cool thing. And people are like, oh, but they didn't have like Cloud and Squall. But it's like, yeah, but Sora knows them. Sora is friends with those people, and people who are worried that Final Fantasy characters won't be in this one, guys, they're gonna be in the game. Okay, if they're putting in summons as in the toy store, then the Final Fantasy characters are going to be in the game. Sora knows these guys. They're in almost all of them. You know, you get to actually play as Cloud essentially in Chain of Memories because he's a summon. And when you summon Cloud, he like takes over Sora, and you're just like watching Cloud on screen like kill people. It's really cool. But guys, like I promise you, like they're gonna be in the game. They're in all of the games. You know, even in Birth by Sleep, you get to meet Zack, which is really cool because Zack was the main character in Crisis Core, and Cloud was in all of the Olympus Coliseum in Kingdom Hearts 1, and so for the prequel, you get the character from the Final Fantasy VII prequel in the Coliseum. So, like, and then there's that, like, they're gonna be in the game, guys. They're gonna be in the game. At least Squall, Cloud will be in the game. At least like the characters that Sora is always hanging out with will be in the games. I don't know if Yuffie and the characters from 10-2 will be in the games because no one really thinks about 10-2 much anymore. A lot of people are predicting we'll see Noctis. I bet you we will see Noctis at some point. It's too good of a cameo to miss. We'll probably see Lightning as well. I'm kind of thinking Lightning will actually be in the Olympus Coliseum because she seems like someone who would work there. Especially if you've played 13-3 Lightning Returns, which I don't blame you if you didn't because I barely played any of it at all. I really don't like any of the Final Fantasy 13 games. All of them are bad. I never beat a single one of them, but if we're going to see Lightning in the game at all, I bet she'll be there because there's usually a Final Fantasy tie-in at the Olympus Coliseum. And I want to say it looks like the Olympus Coliseum will probably be at the very, very beginning of the game. And the reason why I say that is because Sora seems to be wearing his Kingdom Hearts 2 attire at the Olympus Coliseum. And later on, when you see him entangled, and they haven't showed gameplay of Big Hero 6 yet, but there's concept art of Big Hero 6. And in the concept art and in the gameplay for Tangled, Sora is wearing these new clothes that are less yellow, more black, with more hints of red in it. And so it looks like, just like how in Kingdom Hearts 1, when you first get Sora back, he's sort of wearing his same clothes from Kingdom Hearts 1, and they're like even shorter on him now because he's taller. So he gets new clothes. It looks like that even in Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to do the same thing, where you start out in Kingdom Hearts 2's clothes, and then you'll upgrade to Kingdom Hearts 3 clothes. But so I have to say, Olympus Coliseum might be in the very beginning of the game. I would not be shocked if the game starts out in the middle of the action of you just Sora's in like an adventure in the Olympus Coliseum and he's with Hercules and because we have seen that Hercules does actually fight side by side with you this time. This is the first time Hercules is actually your ally. So because other times he's just there. This time he actually fights with you, and he's like part of your party. And because there's only one party member, which is Hercules, it really makes me think that this really will be the very early on part of the game because there's only one party member. But it also makes me think potentially a Final Fantasy character could be another party member because, like I said, Auron was your party member in Kingdom Hearts 2. Auron was a Final Fantasy party member. He's the only party member who's ever joined you who's been from a Final Fantasy game. So to me, there's always been this weird thing with Final Fantasy characters appearing in the Olympus Coliseum, which is why there's always the Olympus Coliseums in every one of these Kingdom Hearts games. So to me, it was a no-brainer. Because, yes, you could say, like, well, Aladdin and, like, A Nightmare Before Christmas, those are in every game. Like, yeah, but they're not in all the side games as well. I mean, Olympus Coliseum is even in Birth by Sleep. Like, it's in fucking everything, man. It's not in Dream Drop, I don't think. But Dream Drop didn't have a tournament mode or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, yeah, I'm thinking Olympus Coliseum will be very early on, and potentially we'll see a FF character. I'm hoping it's Lightning, and if they do Noctis, I would like to see him in like Radiant Garden or something instead. I wouldn't, or just like the town, wherever the town people are, wherever Squall's at. I would like to see Noctis there instead. I don't really need to see him at the Olympus Coliseum. I think Lightning would be more fitting there. And unless they just don't want to put Lightning in at all. If they don't want to put Lightning in at all, then so be it. But I feel like they're going to do it. Just to piss me off. I would also love to see, Final Fantasy characters prior to 7. The only one that's prior to 7 is Setzer from Final Fantasy 6. And while I love Setzer, the reason why he's in Kingdom Hearts 2 is because the director of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 was the art designer for Setzer. And then he was the art designer for the later Final Fantasies in the PS1 era. So, of course if he designs these characters and he designed Setzer, then of course he's going to put them in Kingdom Hearts. And I would love it if he would get off his own dick and put in more characters that he didn't make. Like if he would put in like Locke from Final Fantasy 6 or something like that, then that would be really awesome. But they're not. Who knows if they'll actually ever do that. I would love to see Cecil and Kane in Kingdom Hearts 3. That'd make me so happy. But they might not do that. But because of Dissidia coming out, maybe? Because Dissidia came out like after Kingdom Hearts 2. And so I would love to see some Dissidia characters in Kingdom Hearts. That'd be great. Um, as far as worlds go, the big one that we all know is going to happen that hasn't been announced yet is Frozen. If you don't think Frozen's going to be in the game, I don't know what you're talking about because Big Hero 6 is in the game. Tangled is in the game. If they can make a whole world based off Tangled, there's a reason why they showed it really quickly. And like, hey, look, this is in the game too. Is because if they showed Big Hero 6, people would be like, I want to see more of that world. But because they showed Tangled, Tangled's going to probably be one of the earlier worlds. Tangled's probably going to be like right after Olympus Coliseum, in my opinion. It's probably going to be seriously that, and then probably, or Tangled will be after Toy Story, but it's going to be around the same period. It's going to be really early on, and Frozen's probably going to come later in the game, and Frozen's going to be a big deal, and they're probably going to show Frozen off at E3, along with another world. Are they going to do another Pixar movie? Well, if they do another Pixar movie, my top pick would probably be The Incredibles. Oh, I should also mention that Wreck-It Ralph is a summon, and so he's not going to get his own world, which is great because I don't want another world based off the new 3D movies. I think 3D movies from Disney is enough, and Wreck-It Ralph's world is just like video game stuff, so that would be really dumb in my opinion. I would like it if they just didn't do Wreck-It Ralph. so, so I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to get that, and I would say if they did another Pixar movie outside of Toy Story and Monsters Incorporated, it should be The Incredibles because at least that is a good setup for action. The thing with Little Mermaid was fine. I don't know why they put Little Mermaid in Kingdom Hearts 2 and then made it just like a music rhythm stage. That was a bad idea. That's one of the things people really hate about Kingdom Hearts 2. But Kingdom Hearts 2 has some great worlds in it with like Tron and like the old cartoons, like the original Disney cartoons. Like Steamboat Willie is like literally in the game. Stuff like that. Like people are going apeshit over Cuphead now. Well, like we had that stuff in Kingdom Hearts 2 and it was great. But what I'm trying to get at is that I don't really want a Finding Nemo stage just because we had Little Mermaid in the first game and it kind of worked well. And there's no reason to return to Little Mermaid at all. But that's why Ariel is a summon because we're not going to fight with her again. Sort of like how Simba was a summon in the first game, but then in Kingdom Hearts 2, they put in a Lion King section. They don't need to return to Lion King again. They already did it. If they want to make Simba a summon, that's fine, but they don't need to do him again because it won't really work as well. That's why they do need to not do too many returning worlds. Hercules is great. Hercules will like always have something to contribute, especially because they're doing it as an early stage. That's perfect. But as much as I like, to me, getting to Aladdin halfway through the game, that is so Kingdom Hearts to me, and then getting to Nightmare Before Christmas towards the end of the game, that is like so Kingdom Hearts, because we always get to do that. But I don't think we're going to see that this time around. I don't think we're going to get Aladdin towards the end or like halfway through. I don't think we're gonna get that shit. So so they do need to focus on new worlds, but when it comes to like Pixar worlds, there's only so many they can really do that'll work well. Toy Story is a perfect world. Monsters Inc. is a perfect world. And so for me, if I was gonna say like what's the most perfect world outside of those two, I would say maybe even possibly what was that movie called with all the emotions in it? Inside Out. Inside Out would probably work a lot better than something like Cars or something like Finding Nemo or something like Up or even something like WALL-E, where those worlds are not really designed for combat. Incredibles could work, and they could make the story about the first movie as a cool refresher before we go see the new movie, it could be nice to see that. And so what they could do is they could make it to where you're with Mr. Incredible, and then eventually you meet up with Elastigirl, and you get to fight with them side by side, stuff like that. And then you can make one of the summons uh, either the baby or possibly their speedster son, or you know, even the girl. You can make any of the other superheroes, or just make a summon the entire family of the Incredibles. That would be, honestly, maybe that's a better idea than putting in the Incredibles world. Maybe just having a summon where they're just the whole family comes in, and maybe even Frozen's there or something. But yeah, I think that would be perfect. Um, and then like yeah, as far as like a Pixar world, I wouldn't want Up or Wally or anything like that. Even though those are like popular movies that people like, even Nightmare Before Christmas. The thing about a lot of the worlds they chose in the first two Kingdom Hearts was like Nightmare Before Christmas was this awesome environment, and it was really crazy to run around in like that Halloween town in that environment, and it was really crazy to like swim under the water in Little Mermaid. It was really crazy to go to this desert for Aladdin. Like those were really great landscapes. Those are really great scenarios for the game to progress. Um, and so, like when we get to Big Hero 6, that'll be cool because it'll be this huge like futuristic city. And when you get to Frozen, it'll be cool. It'll be really cool because it'll be like this icy wonderland that could have some really harsh battles in the snow. So that's all like good. These are good ideas. These are all exciting, good ideas. But uh, Incredibles probably the best one besides Monsters Inc. and Toy Story. But I kind of think that that's enough Pixar. Two, I think three Pixar movies is good, and I think three the 3D movies is good. Because I can't see them doing like Zootopia or anything like that. I can only see them doing. If you're someone who's afraid they're going to bog down this game with too much new material, I think you can rest assured that there's going to be Big Hero 6, Frozen, and Tangled, and that's probably going to be it. And that's fair. That is fair because it should be a mix of everything. And when you look at the fact that Toy Story, Monsters Inc. are in the game, yes, there was a newer Toy Story movie that long ago, but this is based off like the old stuff. This is all based off the old stuff. So. And that's a thing with Monsters Inc. It looks like it's exclusively based off the original movie. You know, we have the little girl Boo in it, so we have everyone, and yeah, it's gonna be great. Um, as far as like new Disney worlds, I could easily see them do something really old that they haven't done before. But when you look at the PSP games, and you look at the 3DS games, you know they did Hunchback of Notre Dame on the in Dream Drop Distance. They redid Pinocchio. They did Tron Legacy, which is kind of a cool idea. Um, you know, I don't want to be this guy, but when you look at everything they've done, and I could see them definitely redoing Aladdin, but I won't be shocked if they don't do it. But considering they do all these things, like they do Tron Legacy, they do Pirates of the Caribbean, they do all that stuff, I could really see them doing something involving Marvel or Star Wars, and everyone is like, "Don't do it! Don't do it!" You know, everyone is saying like, "Don't do it! Don't do it!" And it's like, ugh, come on, guys! Like, we need this content and we need this game to blow minds. Okay, they own Marvel, they own Star Wars. You know, maybe I'm just saying, maybe as like a boss fight or something, I know that you just like have Darth Vader as a fucking one of the final bosses, like when you would normally fight Sephiroth at the Coliseum, you could also fight Darth Vader at certain point or something. Like I don't know, I'm just saying like there's stuff there that could really help out to make the game feel mind blowing because. Like just playing Tron and playing Pirates of the Caribbean and Kingdom Hearts 2 was really mind blowing at the time. I fucking loved it. To me, that was like, yes, while those other movies were like cartoons, like playing in Tron is like a fucking legendary movie. And I really like Legacy too. I actually do like that movie, and people kind of forgot about it now. But like, being able to play in Tron, it was just so great. It made me feel so happy. And then of course, like playing in like the Steamboat Willie sections, like Kingdom Hearts 2 has so many amazing levels, and I really want that quality. And Kingdom Hearts 2 had a lot of levels too. I want Kingdom Hearts 3 to top 2, which means it needs to have at least just as many worlds, but they need to be mostly fresh and new worlds. And man, I'm thinking possibly a world based off the Avengers movie and a world based off of either the original Star Wars or Star Wars Episode 7. But I would really like it if, and I love the new movies, don't get me wrong, but I like the prequels too, but I would really like it if it was just based off like Episode 4, and you team up with like Luke and Han Solo, and you go in the Death Star with Luke and Han Solo, and you dress up as stormtroopers or something, and you save Leia, and Donald's like in the stormtrooper. She's like, "Aren't you a little too short to be a stormtrooper?" That's, I don't know. I don't know. I would like it, but I know it's probably not going to happen. But if it did happen, it'd be really, really make me happy. I think this is exactly what the game needs, because when you look at all things Disney, Kingdom Hearts has done a lot of this already, and that's why they're mostly showing off new stuff now. That's why we're getting things like Tangled and Big Hero 6, because we got, and that's why we're also branching into Pixar. So, and if they branch into Pixar, I don't know why they can't branch out to more, but either way, I'm glad there is such a Pixar focus. I hope there is at least one more Pixar movie, but there still has to be more Disney movies for this to really flesh out and be a full concrete game with enough content in it. And so we'll have to see. It's hard to call what all will be here. You know, for me, I always thought like if they ever made a Kingdom Hearts 3, because everyone always said make Kingdom Hearts 3, make Kingdom Hearts 3. Well, Dream Drop Distance is like a Kingdom Hearts 3, and even Birth by Sleep is even almost like a Kingdom Hearts 3. So we've already had those games, but this is like the masterpiece game everyone's been wanting. That's like a full-fledged game on console, and what I always thought was like, well, I guess, like when I was younger, after I played 2, I always thought like if they made a 3, it would be like you would go to a lot of the same worlds from 2, because in 1 you go to a lot of the same worlds that you go in 1 you go to a bunch of worlds, and 2 you go to a lot of the same worlds but with a bunch of new ones. And so Sing Olympus Coliseum, yeah, that makes sense to me, and I kind of hope we get to go to Aladdin again, and really, I would really like it to go back to Nightmare Before Christmas again. But the thing is that Nightmare Before Christmas, we did the story all the way through. Like, they can't further the story any more than they already did. You know, they can't further the story in Aladdin any more than they already did. Now they can make things up. Aladdin's got a rich environment to make things up, and hopefully we get a lot of things that just stuff like that. Hopefully you get a lot of new adventures in these movies. But yeah, I don't know, man. I really want this game to be big with a lot of worlds, and a lot of new mechanics and things. It looks like we already are getting new mechanics and stuff. We know that we get to go back to Twilight Town at some point. I think that's early on too. Yeah. So those are some of my predictions. I guess my main predictions is Frozen, and Incredibles, and I really want Star Wars. Please make it happen. But Frozen and Incredibles probably my 2 biggest predictions. If you guys can think of a great Pixar movie to fight in, and I mean this is a serious answer, then go ahead. I do think Inside Out would be another good choice, even though it's a little dated and people don't talk about it that much anymore. I think it'd be a really good choice, a lot better than something like Wreck-It Ralph, for example. And then like I wouldn't really want Zootopia or anything like that, but if they did do Zootopia, at least they have 2 characters that could work. So we'll have to see what we get, and I'm very excited for this game. I'm probably more excited for this than I am Red Dead Redemption 2, and that might sound like blasphemy for some people, but for me, while I adore Rockstar games, and I especially adore the first Red Dead Redemption, I adore Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 so much. They're such defining games in my childhood, and I've beaten them recently. They still hold up. They're still amazing. This game looks like it's going to surpass it in almost every way, and I could not be more excited for this game. So I'm really hoping something really cool is going to happen. I cannot wait to play.